Hey guys, Miss Biz here, ready to read some more of I Survived with you today. We're going to read two chapters, chapter 7 and 8. All you're going to have to do with that today is do a summary and make a prediction. So I'll read chapter 7 and 8 to you first. At the end of this video, I will explain how to write a summary in case you've forgotten. So, to remind you, chapter 6, where we left off last week, Lucas saw the trade towers hit, and he started to realize at the very end of the chapter, no matter how dangerous it was, firefighters like Dad and Uncle Benny were going to try to save them. So think about your predictions you made for what would happen next, and let's read chapter 7 and see if they come true. It looks like Tower 1, Uncle Benny was saying, his phone pressed to his ear as he and Lucas ran back to the firehouse. The North Tower. No, not a small plane. It was a jet, a big jet. Yes, I'm sure. Uncle Benny was shouting now. I saw it with my own eyes. Lucas kept glancing back each time that the tower, hoping that the tower would be magically healed. But each time he looked, there was more and more black smoke. The sound of sirens filled the air. Get ready, Uncle Benny was saying. We're going to need everything we have. There has to be at least 10 floors of fire. 10 floors of fire. Dad had told Lucas that every floor of the Twin Towers was about the size of a football field. Lucas tried to imagine what 10 football fields would look like, each one on fire. How many firefighters would it take to put those fires out? And what if each of those fires was almost a quarter mile in the air? That's how tall the towers were. Lucas knew how much the firefighters hated high-rises. Elevators were usually too dangerous to use in a fire. They could stop working suddenly and fill up with smoke. But the other choice was to lug heavy hoses and 50 pounds of gear up endless flights of stairs. Georgie once told Lucas that it could take 2 minutes for a firefighter to walk up just one flight of stairs. Lucas looked back at the tower. That fire was near the top. Maybe the 80th or 90th floor. That meant it could be 2 hours before firefighters could get there. Could the people on those floors wait that long for help? The Seagrave was already out of the garage when Lucas and Uncle Benny got back to the firehouse. Georgie was at the wheel. Men from both shifts were piled on. Benny ran over to grab his turnout clothes and helmet. Lucas followed after him. Uncle Benny, he said, what will you do? Uncle Benny stepped into his bunker pants and boots. We'll do what we always do, he said. He put his hand on Lucas's head for a moment, then ran to the truck. Chief Douglas called out to Lucas from the truck. Your dad is heading to the scene, he said. You sit tight. Take care of things for us, buddy, Uncle Benny said. The truck pulled away, its siren wailing. The garage door shut. And Lucas stood there in shock, alone. He ran to the phone and called Mom. She didn't answer. He left a message, struggling to keep his voice from crackling. That he was at the firehouse, that he was fine, that she should call him. He hung up and stood there, his mind spinning. Uncle Benny's words whispered in his head. We'll do what we always do, what they always did. Fight fires, save people's lives. Yes, that's what they do now. The FDNI was the biggest fire department in the world. They were the best. And they would do what they always did. Chapter 8, 9 a.m. Dad once told Lucas that what he liked most about fighting fires was that everyone had a job to do. If you don't work together, you don't put out the fire. Now Lucas looked around the firehouse. He needed a job, he realized, something he could do to help. He went into the kitchen. The table was covered with plates of half-eaten bacon and eggs. The sink was overflowing with dirty pots. He got to work clearing the dishes and glasses from the table. Every few minutes, the alarm box squawked, and the dispatcher came on with a new alarm. All units meet at VC and West Streets. The TV was on the counter, the sound turned down. The picture on the screen showed the burning tower. Lucas reached out and turned the volume up so that he could hear it over the voice of the dispatcher. If you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, the TV man's voice said, you're looking at an extraordinary sight. Just a few minutes ago, a plane crashed into Tower 1 at New York's famed World Trade Center. We have no official information about what kind of plane it was, but witnesses report it was a commercial jet. Lucas picked up Georgie's huge cast iron skillet and started scrubbing. The towers were built in 1970, the man continued, all 110 floors each. They were once the tallest buildings in the world. There are hundreds of firefighters on the scene. We have reports that firefighters have been entering the building and heading up the stairs to reach people who might need assistance. It's an amazing sight. The smoke was thicker now, painting the blue sky a dirty brown. There were white dots floating in the smoke, almost like confetti. Paper, Lucas realized. Millions of pieces of paper swept out through the hole in the building. The man kept talking about the towers, that they took 4 years to build, that they could withstand 140 miles per hour of wind, that 50,000 people worked there. His voice was calm, almost like a teacher giving a history lesson. Lucas was reaching up to hang the heavy skillet on the hook over the sink. Suddenly, the man on the TV gasped. "Oh my gosh, what was that? Another explosion? Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like a second plane. Yes, another jet. It has crashed into the second tower." The heavy skillet slipped out of Lucas's hand and into the sink, shattering plates and glasses. Lucas barely noticed. His eyes did not move from the TV screen. "Ladies and gentlemen," the man said again, his voice shaking, "we're going to replay the video of what we just saw." The screen flipped. It showed the North Tower burning, and then suddenly, on the left side of the screen, another plane appeared, just like the first. It was a big jet. And quick as a blink, it slammed into the other tower, exploding into a fireball. Fire erupted out of all sides of the building, a ring of flaming blackness. Now there were 2 clouds of churning black smoke. Lucas's heart pounded. It was hard to breathe. There were no more people talking on the TV now, not just the man. There were more people talking on the TV now, not just the man. Oh my, that looked," one woman said. "What did we just see?" said another. "Ladies and gentlemen," the man said, "we have just witnessed the horrific sight of a second plane hitting the tower, the South Tower. There was a massive explosion." "There must be a computer problem, a complete failure of the air traffic control system," said the first woman. What the man said next made Lucas's entire body start to shake. "That did not look like an accident," he said. "It looks like that plane flew into that tower on purpose. I think this is some kind of attack." Wow. Okay, guys. So make a prediction about what's going to happen next. And I want to remind you how to write a summary. Okay. Remember what a summary is. I wrote this definition down on my phone, so let me pull it up. A summary is a short description of the most important events of a story. It tells what happens. To summarize a fiction story, readers need to think about the important story elements, such as characters, plot, and setting. These story elements help answer the questions who, what, where, why, when, and how. Summaries do not include your opinion. Now, one way you could write a summary is using this. Somebody wanted, but so then. Somebody would be the character. In this case, we know Lucas at least, if not also maybe Uncle Benny. Wanted. What did that character want? But something got in their way. So what did they do about it? And then what happened? It's kind of like a BME, almost like a plot story mountain, right? But instead of writing lots and lots of details, you're just going to write a very short couple of sentences to tell what those 2 paragraphs were mainly about. So write your summary, make your prediction, and I look forward to reading with you again tomorrow. Have a great day.